All right, so you're thinking about diving into ICT project management, huh? Well, strap in, because we're going deep on this one.
And we've got a whole stack of insights to unpack here, all thanks to RoleCatcher.
Yeah.
Their career platform seems to have a handle on everything. Guides, interview prep, even some AI stuff.
AI, huh? Now that's interesting. But first things first, what does an ICT project manager actually do?
You got it. At its core, an ICT project manager is the maestro of tech projects. They orchestrate everything from start to finish.
Orchestra, I like that. So they're managing the resources, timelines, risks, budgets, all that fun stuff.
Exactly. They're the central hub, making sure everything aligns with the organization's goals. But here's the thing. A lot of people entering this field, they come in strong on the tech side, but get blindsided by the rest.
Really? I always figured if you're good with tech, you can manage a project. What's the missing piece of the puzzle?
It's the human element. RoleCatcher actually uses this phrase, social perceptiveness.
Social perceptiveness. Okay, that sounds a little vague.
It does, but their guide had this anecdote about a project lead who almost sank a multi-million-dollar rollout because he didn't read the room. Alienated his team, missed the client's unspoken needs. It's a disaster waiting to happen.
Ouch. Yeah, that's a pricey lesson to learn.
Huh.
So it's more than just being organized, it's like high stakes emotional intelligence or something.
Exactly. And that's just one example. They break down the ICT project manager journey into stages, junior, coordinator, senior. Each level, well, you face new challenges, the stakes get higher, and you need a different set of skills.
So it's like leveling up in a video game. But instead of gaining more hit points, you need better negotiation tactics.
Laughs. You know what? That's a pretty good analogy. And get this, RoleCatcher's data analysis shows that as you climb that ladder, those soft skills become even more important than pure technical expertise.
Seriously, I would have thought it'd be the opposite. You know, the more senior you get, the more it's about the tech itself.
You'd think, right?
Yeah.
But the reality is, at a senior level, you're often managing managers. You're dealing with stakeholders who don't necessarily speak tech, but their decisions, well, they impact the entire project. That's where communication, persuasion, even a bit of diplomacy comes in. And they're not just saying this, they've analyzed thousands of job specs. And those skills are consistently listed as top priorities.
Okay, hold on, because be a better communicator is the kind of advice you find on a fortune cookie. Not exactly helpful for someone looking for a career change. So does RoleCatcher actually tell you how to improve those skills?
Right, and that's where they go beyond the generic advice. They have this whole section on functions and core abilities, and it gets surprisingly specific.
Okay, so give me the inside scoop. What separates a good ICT project manager from a great one?
One thing that really stood out to me is active listening.
Active listening, so not just hearing what someone's saying, but really understanding it.
Precisely. It's about truly understanding the needs of your team, the client, even if they're not articulating it directly.
So it's almost like you're reading between the lines, trying to figure out what people really mean, even if they're not saying it out loud.
Yeah, exactly. It can be tough, but RoleCatcher actually gives some interesting pointers. They say one of the biggest mistakes aspiring project managers make is, well, assuming everyone's on the same page technically.
Oh, tell me about it. Tech jargon can be like its own language.
Right. You might be like deep in the weeds of a cloud migration and forget that the client's main concern is whether their email will still work the same way come Monday morning.
Been there.
Exactly. And RoleCatcher suggests practicing what they call context switching. Basically explaining complex technical concepts in a way that resonates with different audiences.
Okay, I like that. So how would you, for instance, explain the benefits of a new cybersecurity protocol to, say, the IT team versus the CEO, who's probably more worried about budget overruns?
That's the idea. It's almost like having different hats you can wear depending on who you're talking to.
Yeah.
You become the tech translator for the whole project.
The tech translator, I like that. And the more fluent you are in both languages, the tech side and the human side, the more valuable you become as a project manager, right?
Right. You've got it.
Okay, so we've talked about active listening, we've talked about context switching. What else are they seeing as important in these job descriptions?
Well, remember how we were talking about those different stages in an ICT project manager's career, from junior all the way up to senior?
Yeah.
RoleCatcher found that even entry-level positions are expected to have some grasp of things like budgeting and risk management.
Really?
Yeah.
Even for junior positions, I would figure those were more for the senior folks.
You'd think so, right? But their analysis shows that even junior ICT project managers, they can really benefit from understanding the bigger financial picture. Like, They gave an example of a candidate who really stood out because, while he was helping on a software implementation, he noticed a potential cost overrun with a licensing agreement, flagged it early, saved the project a ton of money, and basically, well, he guaranteed himself a promotion.
Wow, talk about going above and beyond.
Exactly. And it highlights something else that RoleCatcher really emphasizes, taking initiative.
Taking initiative, okay.
Yeah, they found that employers are really looking for people who are proactive, who don't just wait for instructions, but are actively looking for ways to add value to a project.
So it's not just about doing the tasks you're given, it's about like seeing the bigger picture and anticipating problems before they even happen.
Exactly. And that links back to something we were talking about earlier, continuous learning.
Right. Always be learning.
Yes, because the ICT landscape is always evolving, right? So even if you have those foundational skills, you need to constantly be upskilling, staying on top of trends,
Yeah.
if you want to stay ahead of the curve.
Speaking of staying ahead of the curve, what about all this AI stuff everyone's talking about these days? Does RoleCatcher get into that at all? I know they have those AI-powered tools, but how does that actually play into the day-to-day of being an ICT project manager? It seems like every other day there's a new headline about AI. It's going to revolutionize everything.
Yeah, the hype is definitely real.
Yeah.
But RoleCatcher actually dedicates a whole section to, separating hype from reality when it comes to AI and ICT project management.
So cut to the chase. Are robots going to be managing our projects anytime soon?
Not quite. They make it clear that AI, at this point, is more like a really powerful assistant for human project managers. It's not about replacing us. Not yet, anyway.
Okay, so what's the outlook? What kind of stuff are they seeing AI being used for in project management right now?
Well, their research shows a growing trend of using AI for stuff like data analysis, to identify risks early on, maybe automate some of those routine project tasks, even predict potential budget overruns, stuff like that.
So less about the AI actually managing the project and more about giving the human project managers better tools and information.
Exactly. And this actually kind of reinforces how important those soft skills we were talking about are.
Oh, how so?
Well, think about it. Even if you've got AI crunching numbers and, flagging potential problems, you still need a human being to look at that data, make sense of it.
Right, because the AI is not going to be the one explaining it to the CEO or, figuring out how to adjust the project plan based on what the data says.
Exactly. It takes experience and intuition, a human touch.
So the AI can handle the what, but it's still up to the humans to figure out the why and the how.
You got it. And that's what makes this such a dynamic field to be in, right? You're not just keeping pace with technology, but you're constantly adapting to how that technology is changing the way we work, the skills that are most valuable, all of that.
It's really interesting how everything keeps coming back to adaptability and continuous learning. Those are really the keys to success here, no matter what new tech comes along.
Couldn't agree more. And that really comes through in RoleCatcher's analysis. They've got all these tools and resources, to help you create a standout resume, ace your interviews, all of that. But they really emphasize that, the most important thing is to cultivate a mindset of continuous growth and development. Always be learning.
That's such an important takeaway for anyone listening who's serious about a career in ICT project management, or really any career, if you think about it.
Absolutely. This world is changing so fast. The ability to learn, adapt, communicate effectively, that's invaluable, no matter what path you choose.
This deep dive has given me a lot to think about, for sure. Thanks so much for taking this deep dive with me.
Happy to be here. It's been a great conversation.
For everyone listening, it seems like a career in ICT project management, well, it's more than just knowing your tech. It's about understanding people, being ready to adapt, and never stop learning. And hey, maybe brushing up on your active listening skills couldn't hurt either. Until next time, keep diving.